Why don't we get started
Um,
since it is 6 after? We have 10 folks. There may be a few people joining. Um, so this is the Trusted Referral Network. We're a network of independent marketing, sales, uh, agencies, service providers, consultants around the country get together twice a month on the second and fourth Tuesdays um, via Zoom. So today is the second Tuesday of April. We get together 11 a.m. Eastern. And then on the fourth Tuesday, we get together at 5 p.m. Eastern. And the times are selected so that folks on the West Coast can join without, having to get up ridiculously early or something like that. And we try to have a showcase presenter at each of our meetings, which is about a 15-minute deep dive. We don't always get somebody, so oftentimes we'll wing it. I put out in my last newsletter a question about AI email. So in my newsletter, I try to bring up a topic that's of interest, I think, that is not directly pertaining to the Trusted Referral Network, but is marketing related. And this week I put out sort of a question, noticing that all of the major email marketing and marketing automation platforms have adopted AI for generating emails. I'm sure some are better than others. I haven't used any, I haven't done any email automation in years, and AI would seem to make it easier potentially, but also again potentially more off-putting depending on how it's used. And Stash, who was a member a while back, responded because he's on the email list, on my newsletter list, that he's had some experience in the space. So I thought we would talk a little bit about that. He offered to talk about his experience using AI for one of his clients, but we can sort of make it an open discussion. We usually take about 15 minutes for that showcase, and we can do the same today, but maybe make it a little more of a discussion. And then we go around doing introductions so that everybody gets to know one another. There are a couple of members. We have 4 or 5, 6 members, I think, today, and the remainder 5 guests. So we'll give each person like 3 minutes to chat or to introduce themselves. So Stash, do you want to kick it off? I'll put on a
sure.
timer so that not so much for you, but for all of us, so that we don't go over the 15-minute mark. Did you want to talk a little bit about what you did for your client and
Yeah.
how that all worked
So
out?
I think we should start by acknowledging that AI is not going away. And the horror stories that you hear when it comes to emails and stuff like this is as worse as it will ever be, right? So it will only get better from here. That being said, if you're sending, you want your email message to sound like you wrote it personally to a potential customer. And right now, the large language models are not good enough to do that, right? So what you need to put the effort in, and I think that's the big thing here is, yes, you can send 100,000 emails, but you just have to work at it. And how we did this, well, we're a startup company, we pivoted, and we are sales, research, and automation. So this was for our first customer. So we kind of went beyond what we needed to do because we wanted to prove our technology works. Their ask was, how do they reach e-commerce companies that did in a specific verticals? So now it did went across multiple verticals, but there were a certain type of companies, right? Whether they're selling candle or selling plumbing supplies, whatever. There were small businesses. So what we did in order to craft this message was look at actual communications, emails between them and their customers, and then train a model on that so it sound like them in their tone of voice. I think that's one of the key things, because it's actually my voice, right? If I send 100 email to 100 different customer, it's all start to get very similar. I'm talking about the same services we offer as a company. And then the in between words, right, which mean, oh, you are a hairdressing company, it speaks to this. The next thing we did, we broke that up into subcategories. I think we end up with 34 subcategories, whether this was, all companies related to, say, plumbing supply, hair, whatever that clothing in general, or whatever the subcategories were. This way, the messaging becomes more targeted. Their tone of voice, that subcategory. So that was, I think, two of the key things in communication. The other thing we did was we did not rely on the email, the AI system to send out this email, right? We're not going to say, hey, okay, write 100,000 email and hit send. We actually generated and put it in an Excel file. So we manually review, internally, we review roughly 3,000 at random. And we send 10,000 to them, and they probably review a few hundred, or maybe less. It doesn't matter. The key thing there is we wanted to ensure that it doesn't say Jim when it should go to John, and it didn't get the wrong company or the wrong person. And so that was the other things that, now all of this, it worked. I don't know how this would work if this is something you're doing for 500 customer a day, right? I don't know how scalable that part is. But then again, you can also charge extra for something like this, because it's actually a very human touch in a way, because you have people reviewing it, you have people gathering selected emails that you're going to use for the training. So it actually sounds like the person from this company. Now, this was the set of task or series of events we did in order to generate usable, real human sounding emails. I can say that work, it was time consuming. Like it wasn't the same thing as saying, oh, let's write 100,000 email and hit the send button, which can be done in like a couple of minutes, right? This actually took us development time. Well, let's say if you're going with a company, the company would have models, so that model will just have to be trained. So that's probably a couple of hours. Then there is the human review time. So I would say it would take maybe a day or two to send out X a number of emails per customer.
Can I ask a question, Stash? So what you mentioned before, getting the company name right and the addressee's name right, that's not really using AI, right? That's just replacing a variable. So
Yes.
what was the AI used for? Were
training based on their existing emails,
right?
Which sounds like them, right?
But were the emails different from one another? Or
Yes,
was it
so
the
they
same?
were yes, they were different because it was multiple customers, but
Okay.
Essentially it's the same service, right? So yes, all of their emails was unique. One paragraph was not, just the standard what they're doing, that remained the same. So we broke it down into different things that this email was communicating. And one other thing also, we were reducing cost, right? So what part does the AI need to generate to sound unique, and we're offering you? The other thing, the other training part was, there were two parts in the training. One was the company, their email, and the other was taking the potential companies about web page to understand what they're doing. So what they're offering and what they want to reach. So that was the unique where the AI part comes in.
Okay. John Parsons has a question.
Yeah, I just because I've been writing a lot about AI, I can understand how you'd use AI to quantify the language and voice of the sender because you're patterning it after what's been done before. But is there a way to use AI? Or should there be a way to use AI to measure actual interest in the product or service, or actual relevance or intent to purchase? All of the indicators that could be gleaned from a large training data set, but it would have to be someone, because the most annoying thing about email is that even though the language is relevant, it's for a product or service that I have no intention to buy. So it clogs my inbox with multiple offers for a product or service. I'm getting a lot of virtual assistant emails that we don't need. A lot of optimizing. Oh, a ton of SEO. Your website needs more SEO. So generic services that we have never expressed an interest in, or worse, if I did buy something, it's like the Amazon syndrome. I bought a toilet seat once, so now all the ads on my feed are about toilet seats. Not so useful. So can AI be used to customize and winnow out the people who are just not interested, not relevant
So
in your product?
the answer is yes. Our platform, by the way, not so here is where it gets interesting. What you're saying is we're currently doing something like that internally, but it can't be from like a random email list. How we do it is we have a research engine. So let's say you want to reach, here is a real example. One of our customer, they are a financial business lender. What we did was qualify companies that fit the criteria. Now, this needs the AI need to do this in the back end, and we're using large language models to just starting at what the company do, who similar companies to them are, like their competitors, to understand what services they offer and what services they potentially can offer. Meaning, if you're a construction company and you only build houses, but your competitors also do the lawn and the roofing, that means right there alone, you potentially can do this thing if you were to get more money from this financial lender. Then look at, so there are several aspects in the back end to predict sales, right? So that's where we start with the sales prediction. This is before any email go out. Now, these are the tools and things that we are building internally and we're using. I see it as all part of a marketing plan or campaign, but that becomes expensive, right? This is not just sending out a million email that, coming from the Nigerian prince, right? This is more targeted who you are, who that company is. Then another part to this that we're looking at is attach services. So this construction company, let's just say they got $100 million in loan. What that means is that the businesses associated with that construction company also may qualify for a loan. For example, John Trucking Company. Someone need to ship all the cement and the timber and so forth. So that company now becomes a very good lead because they're close in proximity or they've worked with them before. So that makes that company a very high lead. Now, they're not going to be the $100 million loan, but they might fit in for a $3 million loan. Mary's Sandwich Shop, because they, supply food to all the construction workers. So these are, I know I jump off there, but it's all connected. And that's how we are trying to, what we're calling enhanced leads and generating these like sales prediction.
So Rochelle has a question. Rochelle, you're on mute, by the way. Rochelle, you're on mute.
I have a question. How does this work with like different from with, let's say, just using, let's say, Sales Navigator and an extension like Briskine?
So Sales Navigator, Apollo, those are basic leads company, right? It's a hit or miss. Here is a category of businesses that you're going to target. But the data is not new. It's not conducting real-time research. And so there are a lot of other subcategory you can think of attached to that research data. So all of it.
Give me an idea what would be a subcategory that can make such a difference that it would that Sales Navigator wouldn't work with, because they can get pretty granular.
Right. So some of the things we do is, one, we would scrape the entire website and look for all their services, then look for all similar companies, all companies that they have done business with. We look at all government data, try to analyze and predict closely enough how much revenue they generate. So these are additional things that we attach to a company profile, if you will, that Sales Navigator and regular like lead gen company don't have.
Okay.
So yeah, they're doing deeper work. So we're down to like the last 2 minutes of our 15 minutes. Anybody else have any experience using any of the AI email generators, sort of getting back to that?
Michael, have you spoken to what's his name, Michael Filato, who does the LinkedIn? Because I don't know what he does. He tells me he sends out like 1,000 emails a day. So he's got to be doing something, I would imagine, with AI. Have you spoken to him at all? Or maybe Rajiv, have you spoken? I mean, he does 1,000 emails a day. So
yeah, although I think they're templated emails. I don't believe that he's using AI. And I'm not even sure if it's designed specifically for mass emails. It may just be used for like a CRM. If you're a salesperson and you have to send out, I don't know, if you're trying to reach somebody or go cold, it might suggest an email for you based on the research.
So,
Like,
Michael, yeah. So just to kind of like answer Rochelle's question, so I actually did, I don't know, like a while ago, run into someone that does like lead gen, but he does use AI in his mechanism. Like the AI actually kind of thinks of what is the like appropriate message to send to the person based on the history. So they kind of like warm the contact up by making small talk, and the AI does that, as well as then after small talk has been established, then casually, kind of very soft touch, telling them about like, hey, do you have this need, and maybe you need this, and it almost looks like a full question answer kind of string, all done, all automated, and all done by the AI. So I've never seen anything as advanced as that so far, prior to this one person that does that. So far all the models are all about, okay, I'll bake in the automation, I'll send the message out. But once somebody responds to that message, it then requires human intervention. But in this model, the AI handles everything. So it's like literally fully automated. And the AI is actually thinking on what is the most appropriate
and
response to give.
and as far as you know, what was their conversion rate?
Very high. And this
Oh,
was
wow.
all like this was like a cold audience, and they had like very high conversions with that cold audience, given the learning model that the AI was using. So it was
and
like,
is this Michael Filato or somebody else that
no,
you?
no. It's somebody else. I can't for the life of me remember his name at this moment in time, but I'm sure, it's in my calendar somewhere. So I'll kind of like dig out his name. But it was like really fascinating. And,
How
because
old
it was
is?
so advanced, it was like more expensive than the other lead gen services. But what he was talking about, I had like literally never heard of like ever. So it was like brand new.
How old is this company?
I think they said they've been around for like maybe 5 years, I
Wow.
think.
By the
And
way,
that,
I personally, and I am actually very skeptical of stuff like this, just because there is a fraction of a percent it's gonna go how you guys what was it, a couple months ago when was Chevy cars, it got sold for $1. There is another thing that happened in Canada recently where someone convinced the AI to do something weird. So by letting it go, I would not be okay with letting it just run wild. We're not there yet. Maybe ChatGPT 5 might be smart enough to do that. I would say you would have to have both fine-tuning and RAG engine running.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds to me as if what you describe, Rajiv, is a drip campaign, just a well-designed drip campaign, not necessarily. I don't know how they're using AI, but you can
Well, so
have,
the
you know,
AI, yeah, so the AI is actually coming up with, like what responses to use when, as well
oh, I see.
as infusing humor and stuff like that
Oh,
into
wow.
conversation to make it look more human-like. And he
Interesting.
actually showed me the dashboard of like how it works. And I actually saw like, some of the responses that he sent me as a test, and I received a response from him, and it looked like completely human. You couldn't tell it was automated at all. And
Well,
I was
Rajiv, I
amazed.
think
I was
I
like, Skynet's
if
taking over.
you can dig that up, that would be
I will.
interesting.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
wonderful. And
something
let's
I
take one
would.
more question. Michael Arts, and then we'll move on to going around the table. Michael?
Yeah, hey guys, Michael here. So the with with the fear of getting into this, because it's one of those things where I know just enough to be dangerous. I've been exploring two services in particular that I think are relevant to this conversation. One is a guy out of Oregon who has something called Sales Connector, which works with LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And that's one of those services that, like Rochelle was describing, it will send out, I think it'll send out 40 a day. But you also get into, you get to approve it before it sends things. So you really can teach it. So it's sort of to the tip of the iceberg of the next one of that I was going to tell you about. But what you guys are talking about, and what I think is where a lot of value lies, is in collaborative AI, which is very different than Chat GPT. And I've gotten more and more exposed to this, especially with a company that I'm starting to do some work with called Lately AI. I suggest you guys check it out. It's primarily focused on social media posting, but what Lately does is it learns how you post, how you write, what you post in terms of videos and pictures and things like that. And it's very much collaborative AI. These guys have been around actually for 7 or 8 years. It's very different from a lot of these Chat GPT based things, which quite frankly reach out to the world and bring in all kinds of, I'm going to be blunt, garbage into the
Can you put
mix.
that in the chat, pretty please, when you say lately? Can
Yeah,
you put that in the chat?
sure. It's hang on. You're asking me to do 2 things at once. That's terrible.
Gosh. All right, we'll let you work on that, but
No,
thank you for that.
It's Lately. So what Lately does is it operates in a closed loop, right? So it learns, again, like I said, it learns you and your brand and how you operate and how you do things. They've had some pretty, they've got different levels. They've got, sort of small, SMB levels, but they've also got like enterprise levels. They've done some things, they did have some very successful tests with Walmart and a few other folks. They're really starting to get traction. And what's wild about this is if you start doing some research, I mean, they don't actually do a lot of like PR and outreach and thought leadership. Although the CEO, she's really good. She does a lot of thought leadership, like webinars and not webinars, but podcasts and things. But in terms of like outreach to publishers and people who do reviews and write articles on these things, they just keep getting found and people keep singing their praises. So the reason I brought up these 2 things is so the issues that I had with the Sales Connector, the one that works on LinkedIn, because I think LinkedIn has a lot of value for getting to, marketing executives, because a lot of them are on there. It's a me problem, not a Sales Connector problem. But I'm grandfathered in. I don't know about anybody else, but I've been on with LinkedIn since like 2007 when it all started, and I have like an insane low price that is grandfathered in, and as long as I don't change my level of premium service, I get to continue at that ridiculously low price. And the reason I ended up not working with this Sales Connector thing is because the LinkedIn guys, to get Sales Navigator, means I have to surrender my other, my personal one. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I mean, I'm not giving that up, because once you give it up, you never get it back. So for me, that, like I said, that was a me problem, but I think it is a problem. I think it's a LinkedIn problem. I think it's a problem where, LinkedIn has some sort of, I would say they're arbitrary. I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to have Sales Connector and have it be completely separate from your personal needs, but that's beside the point. Or not Sales
What
Connector,
is
but
Sales Connector exactly? Is it?
Sales Navigator. So Sales Connector is, hang on a second, let me,
You have the URL for that.
yeah, well, I've got a couple of different things. Hang on a
Yeah,
second.
and then I want to jump to our.
Yeah, but I think what I was going to say is, so I think there's a lot of people doing the things that, see if these work. This is all Sales Connector. See if these links work. I just copied them out of an email.
Mhm.
But and I like the guy who runs this. The guy's name is Wes Lemos. His company's called Roll Digital. Really nice guy and really smart guy. I just wasn't gonna, like I said, wasn't it was selfish. Like I said, it was a me problem, or I would have gone further with it, because I was trying to do some biz dev work for one of my clients. But the Lately AI one is the one that I'm really interested in, guys, because I think it's the one that is really doing something different than all these other ones that are so chat GPT based and large language model based. And again, like I said, I think, Stash hit on it a little bit. I mean, the need for humans to collaborate with the AI is essential for it to be truly convincing, organic, reflective of what you want it to be. I mean, if you just, it's like anything else, if you just literally cut and pasted something that ChatGPT told you and, gave that to a client or something as your own work, you look like an idiot, right? Because that thing writes badly or says weird things or finds strange things on the internet. And it's interesting. So yeah, so the collaborative and the closed loop ones, like I said, Lately AI is the one that I find really interesting, and I'm probably going to do some work with them. So
Yeah, I imagine that where it's integrated with the CRM, if it's done right, it will say, well, it's about you need to catch up with so and so. You haven't connected with him or her in a while. Let's generate a connection email and let's find out what they've been posting, what's relevant, what's on their anything that is relevant, and generate an email for you. And then you look at it and then hit send after you edit it.
One of the things I want to challenge Lately AI with next time I talk to them, I'm supposed to talk to them on Friday, is why can't a version of this work for lead gen? Like, why can't they create something that does all the same things it's doing for you on social, but does it, in emails
in a CRM kind of environment.
So yeah, I don't know. I can keep you guys posted, but did those links work? Did those Sales Connector? Did anyone click it?
They looks like they go to HubSpot documents, but there's probably. So let's switch to our intros. We'll go to 2 minutes. I'm going to put in the chat the order, not necessarily in which folks showed up, but more or less. I didn't want to have our guests kick off. So Rochelle, John Parsons, Michael Arts. What we typically do: take 2 minutes, introduce yourself, what you're offering, how you can help others, if you're looking for anything in particular. And lastly, but not least, if you can tell it in a way that's compelling or we'll some sort of hook. What's different about you? What's unique? Something personal, maybe. Always helpful. And as you listen to each other, take note of who you want to follow up with, because really this is only a 2-minute intro and it doesn't do justice to what everybody around this table has to offer. So if there's somebody that sparks an interest, then definitely follow up with them. And in the meantime, drop your contact information in the chat, and I'll encourage folks to download the chat afterwards. So let's start with Rochelle, then John Parsons, and then Michael Hartz. Oh, and by the way,
Okay.
if you could
Good.
go, I'll start the 2 minutes. If you can go on mute, everyone except for the speaker, because I'm going to move to speaker mode so that that person shows up in the recording in full screen. Go ahead, Rochelle.
Okay, it's Rochelle from Dynamic Business Growth. And I always say that it's dynamic business growth and not schlep along business growth. I just find that a lot of companies they really suffer. They cannot speak about their business in a compelling way. They are very often long-winded, common, they speak in jargon, and you cannot distinguish one from anybody else. So I always say when you talk about your business, I want to know, how do you pull a rabbit out of a hat? What is the story that you're telling? Based on that story, I get to see your level of expertise. So when you speak about your business, are you storytelling or boring telling? When you have a dynamic story, the reason it's so important and the reason that you want to highlight your expertise is that that allows you to charge more money. Very often when I rewrite somebody's story and their pitches, we go straight to what they're charging, and I can't even tell you how successful I've become in making them raise their fees, minimum double. Sometimes I've gotten pretty aggressive, and they bless me for it afterwards. So if you are looking to talk about your business in a compelling way, just like have a conversation. My next cohort in this program, Ultimate Power Pitch, I'm looking for attorneys. So if anybody knows of an attorney that would like to revamp what they say, I'd love to chat with them. Thank you.
What are you charging for that cohort program? Oh, you're on mute. For some reason, you're on. Yeah, you're on mute.
It's 6 weeks. I revamp everybody's positioning, and it's $1,000.
$1,000 for 6 weeks. Okay, cool. John Parsons.
Thanks, Michael. I'm going to apologize in advance because I have to take off for another meeting in about 5. But John Parsons, I'm with Into Ideas. I'm one of, looks like 3 video companies in this meeting today. Hey, Robert. And so we're a small bespoke agency in Seattle. Our ideal context would be fractional CMOs, agencies. We've worked with other video companies, and one of our distinguishing marks is that if you need to record first-person video, A-roll, testimonial videos for like a mid-funnel social proof kind of video to get people further down the funnel, we do all of that remotely. We use a platform that uses smart devices or webcams, preferably smart devices, to record the footage to the device and then upload the best takes for editing. And we do that for a number of reasons. One, we really love it in Seattle. We don't like to leave. And second, the cost of procuring video is pretty high. We lower the cost per finished minute for ourselves or for our partners by setting up remote sessions. We also specify or send out or loan out kits that include the equipment that a client wouldn't typically have, like a green screen if they absolutely need it, or we can use their phone as a teleprompter, but we really kind of discourage that because they need to sound natural, and things like lights and microphones. So we are full service, but that's one of our distinguishing characteristics. We lower the cost of footage acquisition. And my stuff is in the chat, and I apologize again for having to leave early, but all my stuff is there if you want to go to the chat and save it with a save button that's at the top of the screen now, not the bottom of the screen. They moved it.
Thank you so much.
Cool.
All right. And Michael Arts, a guest. You're on mute, Michael.
Hey guys, sorry. You haven't had enough of me. So can't speak. So I'm a marketing operations biz dev leader and innovator. I've got experience in sports and entertainment, gaming, technology, strategic partnerships, consumer products. Started in media and sponsorships and marketing activation, where I learned all about the power of storytelling, Rochelle, and also experiences and lifestyle. And community engagement for building and growing brands. I've applied those principles over and over again, repeatedly, with a lot of success. Build value, drive revenue. So whether it's working on sports properties, selling consumer products, pitching content marketing and distribution technology, or developing hardware and software platforms like I did at my last full-time role at Atari, so that's my memorable thing. Everybody will remember that I worked for Atari. I was the COO there and launched a new game console for them. Currently, I left Atari. I went to a startup that unfortunately has had trouble starting up. So I've been doing fractional CMO, COO work, a little bit of biz dev work, while also looking for a new full-time gig. So I basically decided that even though I'm very entrepreneurial, I don't want to be the entrepreneur, which kind of is what happened with this startup. I'd rather go work for a company again, enjoy that. And yeah, so my give is, that I can do the marketing and operations, especially when it's in a B2C environment. And my get, I guess, is any kind of leads for those fractional roles in the short term, and ultimately, like I said, looking for another full-time gig.
Right. Thank
right
you
as
very
time
much.
is up. Good job.
Good timing.
Yeah, Mike.
Reagan Wilders.
Hi there. So I'm a web developer located in Western Connecticut. I specialize in WordPress websites, and I have a lot of experience with all different types of software. So I look at the big picture and I dig deep into solutions. I know Jill Francis. I've worked with her, and I've known Robert for several years from New York. So it's great to see you guys. And I'm just, looking to connect with new people and see how we can help each other. So thank you.
And you were recommended or you referred by Elise Benham. You're in her program.
Yes, I'm in her program. Yes.
So do you want to briefly describe that program?
Oh, sure. Yes. So Elise specializes in working with creative people, copywriters, graphic designers, developers. And what I've learned from her is how to market myself, because I programmed for so many years, I really didn't know how to talk about my business or put together an email. So every week we have different activities where we can do outreach together. We have co-working together. We have workshops on AI, how to use it in our emails. So there are lots of opportunities to connect with other people and support each other and to learn how to market ourselves better and to keep the momentum going of moving forward with our marketing efforts.
And Elise was at the meeting last week. She and I are discussing how we might do some sort of cross collaboration with her program and the Trust Referral Network members. All right. Thank you so much, Reagan. Let's see. Rajiv, you're up.
On me? Has your child ever asked you this question, either dad or mom? What's a douchebag? Well, this could be a very uncomfortable conversation to have with your little one, especially if they're looking at you with tears streaming down their cheeks and asking you why all the other kids are making these statements about you based on what they've seen in social media or on Google or something like that. Now, this is something that can easily be avoided to a degree. And that's basically what my service does. We erase scandal from Google such that nobody sees it. If nobody sees it, those other kids certainly aren't going to see it. And then your child is not going to ask this question to you because there'll be no reason for them to ask this question to you. So what we do essentially is erase scandal from Google. We erase all kinds of scandal which appear in the form of private identifiable information as well as bad reviews. as well as press articles that drag your good name through the mud, as well as any other content that anyone may have posted, including mean tweets and TikTok videos that disparage your good name. So we can get rid of all that stuff and get it gone so that it's never seen on the internet ever again, nor is it searchable on Google. And the reason why we do this is because there's many of you are trying to make the world a better place with what it is that you do. And that is damaged severely by this hearsay that are doubting your ability and your good word. And that's a wrong that needs to be righted. And that's why I do what I do. So I would love to meet all the new people in the room. I put my Calendly link. Let's connect on LinkedIn as well to explore synergies. And just one small shout out, I'm also looking for speakers for a UN conference that I'm organizing May 18th. So if anyone wants to be a United Nations speaker, please contact me. I'd love to have a conversation. Thank you, Mike.
Right. Absolutely. Seems to be a little bit of a delay on your video. I'm not sure if is anybody else noticing that with Rajiv? Yeah. Okay. Don't know how to fix it, but Jill Francis Gray, welcome back.
Hi, it's nice to see everyone. As Michael said, I'm Jill Francis Gray, and my company is JFG Visual Communications. I'm a brand strategist and specializing in visual design primarily. And I work with a lot of startups. I either become their internal creative department because they may or may not have anybody, or I am a fractional creative director in some cases. I also partner with CMOs to become a partner in the creative development as startups are getting going. I'm not exactly, some of my clients are in the health tech, med tech space or big data, but I'm pretty open to any type of startup. And see, yeah, I'm basically here just to meet more people and learn about other people's businesses and see how we might be able to work together. So thank you for seeing everybody.
Absolutely. And I just connected with somebody named Riva, R-E-V-A Minkoff. I think she's based in Chicago, and she works with startups as well. Easy enough to find. R-E-V-A Minkoff.
Oh, great.
Yeah, Robert Video Weiss.
Hey, everybody. Michael, can I get the screen share here?
Sure, it should be available. I left it open.
All right, cool. Okay, awesome. So I have to say video. That's what we do. We've evolved a little bit over the last few months. We use the word deliberate a lot these days, and we're kind of changing our customer focus to do more retainer, ongoing, because people are getting a little bit more strategic with video. So I'm going to show you one of the things that is kind of like the next evolution of video, and that's personalized video, just like we have personalized email and personalized everything. And what I'm going to do is go to LinkedIn here. Everybody can see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to send this to you, Michael. I've already created the URL message, so I'm basically going to paste this into Michael's LinkedIn account, and it will show up here. Take a little while to load because my internet is blah. But it'll say, "Hi, Michael. Great to have met you at Modex." Modex is a trade show that I go to. So this is a use case where I met Michael at a trade show. But this is a personalized animated GIF right here. Michael clicks on it, and then we'll go to a landing page that will have his, "Hi, Michael,
well,
Modex is a wrap."
days of another year at Modex, and wow, what a great few days it was. Rekindling old relationships and making new ones. If your experience was anything like mine, you were super.
So I'm going to turn this down, but this is the email that we sent out, and that's me. And then at the very end, it'll actually have a personalized website come up. And that should be your trusted referral network logo right there. I'm not sure if it's pulling from LinkedIn or not, the data. But that's some of the things that we've been doing now that's a little bit different than just, you know, creating video for a specific use case that fits, you know, that's very personalized.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing
So,
that.
Robert, like, so that landing page, is that something that gets generated automatically, or is that something you got to like put together?
The landing page is generated, but the video gets embedded into the landing page. And I can customize that. That's kind of the next thing we're going to do is customize that a little bit more. You saw my calendar at the bottom, but the video is using merge fields for, you know, hello Rajiv, hello Michael. And at the very end there, I'm not sure why it didn't pull the URL, but it would actually pull a screenshot of your website if that data was there, and the data just might not have been there from LinkedIn. That's why it probably didn't show up.
Awesome. Yeah, Robert, I definitely want to do a one-on-one with you to learn more about this. It's fascinating.
Cool stuff.
Very cool. All right, Stash, take it away. Stash, you still with us? Oh, there he is. You're on mute. Go ahead.
I'm Stash Harrison, CEO of Market Intent. We're AI startup focusing on research and automation. We've pivoted, it's all sales related. So we have a data engine. We have what our offering is more of an enhanced lead with a deep company profile. Then we do custom research on top of that. And we've created an AI BRD or BDR. Sorry, I always mix those up from my software days, requirements gathering. So that is essentially our product where we have the data and we help the human salesperson act on it, focusing on sales being a human thing. By the way, Michael, going back to the email question earlier, where everyone is talking about AI sending out email, pretty soon, and I am actually personally hoping for this if some company haven't started building it already, is each of us should have AI personalized assistant to read the spam AI generated email. So one AI talking to each other and leave me out of it, and these sort of 5 things I need. So that's the only one that gets past the gatekeeper. And come on, we know it's coming because we have agents that can do certain low-level tasks. What we're focusing on is all the back-end research, non-selling part of sales. A lot of this has to do on research and, well, roughly 65% of time is spent on research for some sales reps. And this is kind of boring work. And some of this we do, like gathering government data, for example. Anyway, that's what we do. If anyone is interested, I put my info in there. And I can't wait to have my own personalized AI assistant to block all spam emails.
It's a great concept. All right, Mitesh Shah. Are you there? Mitesh, looks like his video went out. All right, I will go and then we'll try to circle back to Mitesh. So as you all know, my name is Michael Bendit. Let me go first and then I'll bring you in at the end, Mitesh. My core business is representing software development teams. We do, because it's a broad range, it's about a dozen teams that I work with. We've got a really broad range of capabilities. So we do WordPress, we do Shopify, we do mobile apps. A lot of our work comes from relationships with other digital agencies who don't always have the internal resources to deliver the work themselves, so they outsource. I recently expanded a little bit beyond development. I now have a development team that does 80% of their work is SEO. And I'm getting some real traction there. They're Eastern European. What's unique about them is that they are 100% transparent. So the client sees everything that they're doing, how much time it took, what tools they use to do it. And they work collaboratively with the client to prioritize, what tasks to focus on. So they usually start with an audit that covers all of the aspects of search engine optimization, 3 categories being technical, sort of on-site structure and speed and things like that. Content, which is, of course, the content and the relevant keywords. And lastly, backlinks. And what's also unique about them is if you want them to, they will work on just one of those 3 categories. So I got an inquiry this morning from somebody, Reva, actually, who is looking to do just backlinks. So we're happy to do that. And if anybody is interested in seeing what their process is and how they're so transparent, I'd be happy to chat. And a lot of the work they do is also in partnership with agencies, similar to what I do. Okay, Mitesh, you're up.
Thank you very much. I'm really sorry. I got an urgent call. Sorry for that. So my name is Mitesh and my company's name is Video Animation Services. We help people with branding. So we can help people with all kind of graphic designing, logo designing, poster designing, anything regards to designing. For sure, you can contact me. I have team of 4 designers, which I have 2 senior designers and 2 junior designers in the team. Apart from that, we do website development. We are a Wix partners. So if you want any website on Wix, for sure you can contact me. We can help you with free hosting if you're getting a new website done for 1 year. We do Shopify, we do WordPress also, but Wix is where we can do amazing work for you guys. Even we do 2D animation videos. So if you are writing a book, if you are writing a children's book and you want to change that into a beautiful animation videos, then for sure we are expert in 2D animation, and the price, you'll be always shocked with the price, which I will quote you for that. Last not the least, we have recently started paid marketing as well as SEO. So if you are looking for somebody who can help you with your SEO, then for sure you can contact us. Right now I'm looking for partners all over the world. I'm from India. So if you want an agency who can work in the background, then for sure you can contact us. I'm looking for B2B partners all over the world, and I can share the price list, and I'm happy to connect with you guys. Thank you very much for inviting to such a beautiful networking group. Thank you very much.
All right, so we are at the top of the hour. If any last questions, comments, now would be a great time to download the chat. So if you open up the chat window, and now at the top right, there's those 3 dots. First menu item is Save Chat. Yes, Rajiv, you and I should definitely connect. We haven't spoken one-on-one in a while. So thank you all for coming. Next call is on, I believe, the 23rd, and I will be dialing it from Rome, where I'm going on vacation to Italy for 2 weeks, but can't miss this. So Rome at 11 p.m. or something like that, my time.
Michael, did you see there is a viral video about the fountain, which, by the way, I have made a wish in that fountain. Turns out they clean the damn thing every week, and annually over €1 million is taken out in coins. So your wish is just
keeping the Rome government afloat. Yeah, exactly. Literally with sunken coins. Take care.